I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All right, so get this. You're at the K. Bailey Hutchison Convention Center in Dallas. It's March 1st, 2025. And man, the energy is insane. It's the NCA All-Star National Championship, like the Super Bowl of cheerleading, you know. Thousands of athletes, their families, the roar of the crowd, months of work, everything comes down to this.
It's intense.
It is. But then, boom, a sound, and suddenly everybody's moving, rushing, and it's just total chaos.
It's wild how quickly things can shift.
Right. So that's what we're diving into today, the NCAA championship panic. Like, how did this moment, this perceived danger, just turn everything upside down?
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't some huge event that caused it. It was something really small, actually. An altercation, just two people that got out of hand.
Oh, wow.
And during it all, they knocked over some poles, and that bang, it echoed through the whole convention center.
Okay, so just a loud noise. But, I mean, in that environment, with everyone already on edge, it was enough to, like, set everyone off?
Exactly. Imagine it. You're packed in, the energy's high, your senses are overloaded. Then there's a loud, unexpected sound. Your brain, especially in that state, it's going to interpret it as a threat.
Right. Fight or flight.
Exactly.
So people's fight or flight kicks in. What happens next? Did everybody just immediately think it was, like, gunshots?
Well, we can't know for sure what everyone thought.
Yeah.
But eyewitnesses said that sound, the poles, plus the whole context of the event, it led a lot of people to believe shots had been fired. And once that idea gets out there...
Oh, man, it spreads like wildfire.
Exactly.
So it's pandemonium. People are running, trying to get away from what they think is an active shooter situation.
That's terrifying. It's like that experiment where they put a bunch of people in a room and then one person starts freaking out and then suddenly everyone's panicked.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of what happened here? Like this mass hysteria almost? That's a great comparison. Panic, it has this powerful social element to it. We look to others for cues on how to act, especially when we don't know what's going on. So when you see people running, screaming, your brain says, danger, even if you haven't actually seen anything yourself.
Wow. So even if you were calm at first, seeing others panic can actually make you panic too.
It can.
I wonder how many people were actually hurt in all the chaos.
10 people had to be taken to the hospital. Injuries ranged from, like, bruises and scrapes to even a broken leg. Probably from getting trampled in the rush.
Oh, geez.
Shows how fast panic can turn dangerous, even when the initial threat wasn't real.
And think about the emotional toll, too. Imagine being separated from your family in that kind of situation, not knowing if they're okay. Did the organizers have, like, a system to help people find each other?
They did. They set up a family reunification center at the convention center, which is pretty standard for emergency response. That detail, though, it really tells you how chaotic things were.
Yeah. That's intense. Just waiting, not knowing if your loved ones are okay. You mentioned the Dallas Police Department responded quickly. So once they figured out there wasn't an active shooter, what did they do?
They put out a statement right away. They were very clear. No active shooter. The noise was just from that altercation and the equipment falling. Getting that message out fast was really important.
Right, to stop the rumors and calm people down. So clear communication was key. I'm curious, how do they get the message out so fast? Just social media or...
That's a good point. It brings up something really important about handling crowds and emergencies. It's not just about the message. You need different ways to reach people quickly.
Yeah, in a panicked crowd, nobody's going to be scrolling through Twitter.
Right. So what else could they have used?
Well, they probably have a PA system, right? Loudspeaker announcement.
Exactly. Those are essential. You can get a message out to a huge area instantly. Even when you're panicked, a loud, clear voice on the speakers, it grabs your attention.
Right. So quick action by the police, a clear message, using different ways to communicate, it all helped to contain the situation. It's kind of crazy to think how many things had to go right to keep it from getting even worse.
Absolutely. And it really shows that even though it was a false alarm that started the panic, how the authorities responded and the systems they had in place, that made a big difference.
But even with a fast response, the event was still disrupted. So what happened after things calmed down a bit?
Well, the NCA, they had to make a tough call. They suspended everything for the rest of Saturday. Makes sense, though.
Yeah, safety first.
Exactly. Everybody needed to calm down and process what had just happened.
But to have a national championship, something these athletes have worked towards for so long, to have it stopped like that, I bet that was a huge letdown.
It definitely was. It's tough. Right. You have to think about everyone's safety, which is top priority, of course.
Yeah.
But then you also have these athletes who've dedicated so much to get to this point.
Yeah, tough situation all around. So what happened next? Did they just cancel the rest of the competition?
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
They were able to resume everything on Sunday, March 2nd, but with a lot more security, obviously. It really shows how resilient the cheerleading community is, that they could come back and finish what they started.
That's amazing. Bouncing back after something so scary, it says a lot about their dedication to the sport and how they can overcome tough times, but it also makes me wonder about the long-term effects, not just for the athletes, but for everyone who was there. Is that something we'll be getting into later?
Absolutely. We'll definitely be exploring the psychological impact and how important it is to offer support to people who've gone through something like this. It's important to remember, though, even though they did resume the competition, that experience, it probably stuck with a lot of people. Those kinds of events, they can really leave a mark, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to just focus on the physical safety, making sure everyone's okay in the moment, but the emotional side of it, the trauma, that can be just as bad or even worse long term. So how do you even start to deal with that, especially with so many people involved?
Well, I think the first thing is realizing that everyone handles trauma differently. There's no one solution that fits everyone. Some people, they might need to talk to a therapist. Others, maybe they just need to talk to friends and family.
Right. And for the athletes specifically, was there any support for them to help them, work through all that and still be able to compete? It just seems like a lot to process.
Yeah, you're right. It is a lot to ask. And from what we know, the NCA, they did offer counseling services, support groups too, for the athletes, the coaches, their families. It's really important to give people a safe space to talk about how they're feeling and, process what they went through.
Makes sense. It's not just about getting back out there and competing. It's about recognizing that the event happened and giving people the help they need to heal.
Right. And this whole thing, as scary as it was, it can actually teach us something. It makes us think about how prepared we are, both individually and as a society, for these kinds of situations.
So let's talk about that. What can we learn from the NCAA championship panic? And how can we use those lessons to prevent something like this from happening again?
One of the biggest takeaways, I think, is how crucial crowd management is and emergency preparedness, especially in these big venues. I mean, think about it. We're in huge crowds all the time for sports, concerts, all sorts of things. Do we really know what to do if something goes wrong?
Honestly, I've never really thought about it too much. I kind of just follow the crowd, assuming someone else knows what they're doing. But it really makes you realize maybe we shouldn't just be passive, So what can we do? Like if we're at one of these events, what are some things we can do to be more prepared?
It starts with awareness. When you get to a place, take a minute to just look around. Where are the exits? What are the emergency procedures?
I gotta admit, I usually just head straight for my seat. But I guess those few minutes could make all the difference if something happened.
For sure. And it's not just about knowing where the exits are. It's also about your mindset. Have you ever been in a big crowd and felt like you had to just go with the flow, even if it didn't feel safe?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like at a concert, when everyone's pushing towards the stage, it's like you get caught up in it and it's hard to think straight.
That's your fight or flight response. It's natural, but you got to be aware of it so you can make better decisions in a crisis.
Right. Okay. So being aware of where you are and how you're reacting, that's important. But what about the people who organize these events? What can they do to prevent panic or at least keep it under control?
Lots of things, actually. First off, having enough security is huge. Having visible, well-trained security, it can prevent problems and make people feel safer.
Yeah, seeing security guards around, it definitely helps. But how do you stop those initial misinterpretations that start the panic in the first place? Like in this case, the poles falling, people thought it was gunshots. Is there any way to prevent that kind of thing?
That's where design and technology can help. You can design a place with the acoustics in mind, so you minimize echoes and stuff that could make sounds louder and confuse people.
Oh, interesting. So, like, thinking about how sound travels in a space and how that might affect people.
Yeah, exactly. And technology can play a role too. Imagine if there was a system that could send a message to everyone's phone in the venue instantly, telling them what's going on and what to do.
Like a special emergency alert system just for that event, that could be really useful. People always have their phones on them anyway.
Exactly. And you could even tailor it to give people instructions based on where they are. Like if something's happening in one area, you could tell people in that area to go to the nearest exit while everyone else stays put and stays calm.
That's smart. It seems like having that kind of immediate targeted communication could really help stop things from getting out of hand.
It could. And it's not just about the technology. It's about training staff to handle emergencies properly, having clear evacuation plans, doing regular drills to practice those plans.
It's like creating a safe environment for a big event. It's a whole science in itself.
It is. And it's always changing. As crowds get bigger and the world gets more unpredictable, we have to be proactive about finding ways to minimize risks and keep people safe.
So this thing with the NCA championship, as scary as it was, it's actually brought up a lot of important issues and potential solutions.
Absolutely. It started a conversation that we need to keep having. We need to be thinking about these things, not just for big events, but for everyday life too.
Okay, so we've talked about what happened, the response, the emotional impact, and some possible solutions for the future. But there's one more thing I'm curious about. You mentioned they increased security when the competition resumed on Sunday. What did that actually look like?
Well, from what we've heard, they had more bag checks, metal detectors at all the entrances, and a lot more security guards visible throughout the venue.
So pretty typical security stuff, but did it actually make people feel safer?
Hard to say for sure. Some people, maybe they felt better with more security. Others, maybe it made them more nervous, like a constant reminder of what happened.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, you want to feel protected, but you also don't want to be constantly thinking about the possibility of something bad happening. It's a tricky balance.
You got it. And it brings up an interesting question. How much security is enough? At what point does it start to affect people's enjoyment or even their freedom?
That's a really good point. It's like, how much is too much? When does it become, like, overbearing?
It's complicated. No easy answers. But it's something we need to talk about. As technology gets more advanced and the world gets more connected, we have to find ways to use that technology to our advantage, but without sacrificing individual liberties.
That makes sense. It's like, we don't want to live in a world where we're constantly being watched and controlled, but we also want to feel safe, you know?
Exactly. And I think the NCAA championship panic, it can actually help us make positive changes. It forces us to face these tough questions and really think about how we can create a safer, more resilient world.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. There's something that really stood out to me about all this. We've been talking about the panic, the fear, the security measures, but there's another side to this. The cheerleading community, they were so resilient.
Absolutely. Amidst all the chaos and fear, there were also countless acts of kindness, courage, people helping each other out.
Yeah, like the athletes coming back to compete the next day. That takes guts. It's like they refuse to let fear win.
It is. And it shows how powerful community can be, how people come together when things get tough. Think about it. These athletes, they'd trained for months, some for years, for this moment. And then boom, everything's different.
Yeah, their world got flipped upside down. But they didn't give up. They supported each other, rallied together, and found a way to keep going.
It's a great reminder that even when things are really bad, there's always hope. Always that potential for human connection, for resilience, for overcoming challenges.
It's inspiring. Were there any specific stories or examples of this resilience that really stood out to you?
Oh, definitely. Tons of stories of athletes comforting each other, parents protecting their kids, complete strangers helping each other to safety.
Like, even in all the chaos, the best of humanity came out? Gives you a little bit of faith in people, doesn't it?
It does. It reminds us that even when we're scared and things are uncertain, we can still be strong, compassionate, and come together.
So this incident, as scary as it was, it also showed us how strong the human spirit can be.
Exactly. And something we shouldn't forget, because as we deal with a world that's increasingly complicated and unpredictable, we need that resilience, that sense of community, more than ever.
Okay, so we've talked about being prepared, the importance of security, and how incredibly resilient the cheerleading community was. But this deep dive, it's not just about understanding what happened, it's about taking those lessons and applying them to our own lives.
You're absolutely right. So let's turn it over to you, the listener. Imagine you're at a big event, like a concert, a game, even a crowded mall. Knowing what we know now, what would you do to stay safe and make sure the people around you are safe too?
That's a great question to think about. And it's not just about big events, right? Like this kind of awareness, this preparedness, we can use it every day.
For sure. It's about paying attention, being observant, and having a plan.
It's about shifting our mindset, going from reacting to things to actually being proactive about safety.
Exactly. And that's where I think the conversation needs to go from here, this deep dive. It's just the beginning.
So let's keep the conversation going. What are your thoughts? What have you learned from this? What are you going to do to be more prepared, more resilient in your own life?
We'd love to hear from you.
You know, it's kind of wild how this whole conversation has evolved, right? We started with this really scary incident, the panic and everything, but now we're talking about hope and resilience and the power of community. It's almost like finding a positive takeaway from something really negative.
Yeah, it is. And that's what's so cool about these deep dives. We start with one specific event, but then it opens up all these other questions and ideas and connections. And at the end of the day, it's about giving you, the listener, the knowledge and tools you need to understand and deal with the world around you.
So let's kind of bring it all together. We've covered a lot today, from what actually started the panic to how important crowd management is, and then the incredible resilience we saw from the cheerleading community. What are some of the big things you hope our listeners take away from all this?
Well, I think the first thing, and this is huge, is just how important it is to be aware of your surroundings, not just in big crowds, but all the time. It's about being present, paying attention, and having a plan.
Right, not just going through the motions, but really thinking about where you are and what could happen.
Exactly. And the second thing, I think this episode really showed how crucial clear communication is when it comes to stopping panic. Whether it's the authorities getting the right information out or people letting their loved ones know they're okay, clear and quick communication can be like a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's about cutting through the noise, literally and figuratively, and making sure everyone has the info they need to make good decisions.
Exactly. And then lastly, I hope this deep dive has left you, the listener, with a feeling of, hope and a sense of your own strength. We've seen that even when things are scary and tough, people can be incredibly resilient. We can support each other, overcome obstacles, and make the world a better, safer place.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I think a good question for our listeners to think about is, we've talked about being prepared for the unexpected, but what about those times when something happens totally out of the blue? What can you do in those few seconds when that fight or flight response kicks in and your brain's not really thinking clearly?
That's a great question. It's something we can all practice, even in small ways. Think about it. Have you ever been startled by something, like a loud noise or someone suddenly appearing? How do you usually react?
Oh, yeah, I definitely jump. My heart races and I feel like running away.
That's your body's natural response.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, we can train ourselves to pause, even just for a tiny bit, before we react, to breathe, look around, and then choose a smarter way to respond.
So it's like building up those mental muscles to resist that initial panic, creating a little space between what happens and how we react.
Exactly. And it's not about ignoring your emotions or pretending you're not scared. It's about recognizing those feelings and then deciding how you want to act.
Like taking control of your fear instead of letting it control you.
You got it. And it's a skill you can get better at over time. Start by noticing how you react in everyday situations. When you feel that rush of adrenaline, take a breath and tell yourself you have a choice.
That's really powerful. And it's a perfect way to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us as we explored the NCA Championship panic. It's been quite a journey, going from fear and chaos to resilience and hope.
It's been great. And remember, the more you know about yourself and the world, the better you can handle whatever comes your way. And the better you can help create a brighter future.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you.
You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.